Hey yo, what is going on, boyos? It's your boy Fizz, aka Ben here. That was the cringiest intro I've ever done in my life. But what's poppin'? It's your boy Fizz going up against Tiff in NCL Week 9 and the Calgary Flareons. If you guys are hyped for your boy to be 7-1, such a illustrious stat right there. 7-1, very beautiful. Very happy to be here. Show some love on that like button down below and subscribe if you are brand spanking new. But yeah, we're going up against Tiff, who is a first timer to the season, relatively new to league format. If I remember correctly, but I may be wrong about that. But that roster doesn't look like a new draft league player roster. It's terrifying. But I want to jump right into it and going over my thoughts and stuff. She has the Mega Chomp, Celesteela, Sylveon, Greninja, Galvantula, Hitmonlee, Girafarig, Celebi, Gigalith, Marowak, Alolan Marowak, and Togekiss. So actually a really terrifying team that just it's not fun to play against. It's not fun. Mega Chomp obliterates me. Just hard bodies my entire draft. And she has a really good defensive backbone with like Celesteela, Sylveon, and Togekiss is annoying because it can air slash things. It's just really hard here. And Marowak can just like take advantage of my Sun and just Flare Blitz things, and I don't have a switch into Marowak. So this is just an overall not a fun time, and I'm scared. Please help. But it's a really good team against mine, and she's definitely gonna be a playoff contender. She's 4-4 right now, if I recall correctly, and she's having a pretty decent season so far. So definitely looking to be a playoff opponent if she keeps up her streak that she's on right now. But it's a terrifying team, and I'm gonna hopefully go really in depth into my team and see how I prep for this really hard matchup, quite honestly. First up, I have this Calm Mind Clefable with Life Orb. Offensive Clefable looks just really good here in Sun especially. Life Orb, Magic Guard, Fire Blast, Moon Blast, ooh, 2 blasts, Calm Mind, and Soft Boiled. This thing is really good because while I can't take an adamant max attack Celesteela's Heavy Slam, I can Calm Mind first and then Fire Blast and kill it in Sun. So that's definitely a possible thing that could happen. And either way, I can just Fire Blast it raw and do over half, which is really good. Moonblast and Fire Blast is just really good against this team. Has the innate bulk to take a couple of hits and can pretty much win the game if it gets set up properly, but you already know Togekiss is about to flinch this down all the way. So yeah, this thing is a pretty good win con. No defensive Clefable finally, so really happy about that. And it looks really good here, like what can I say, and stuff. Next up, I have my Choice Specs Gengar. Again, she doesn't really have the best Choice Specs Gengar switch in. The best bet is like a really Spadef Celesteela. But that's why I have Trick on this thing. Shadow Ball, Sludge Wave, T-Bolt is all the coverage I really need and covers the majority of her team. Trick is really good if I want to trick the Gigalith, which is definitely possible to bring because I have Sand. I mean, I have Sun. So if she brings Sand, it's going to counteract my Sun. It's not going to be a good time if I bring like the Victory Belt, which I haven't brought yet, but hopefully I can do it soon because it looks really good in some matchups. I just want to not pull the trigger on it so soon, if that makes any sense. Probably doesn't. That's not a good excuse, but you know, I don't know. That's what I have. But Specs Gengar looks really good here, and it's just straightforward. Next up, I have my Garchomp with Swords Dance, Poison Jab, Earthquake, and Fire Fang. Fire Fang is good for the Celesteela, and it's good for Celesteela, that's why I have it. And at +2, Poison Jab kills something like the Sylveon and the Togekiss, so that's going to be really good. The 2 fairies there really get punished by this Chomp set. Earthquake and Fire Fang just do a lot of work. Now, I can't hit Mega Chomp super effectively because I just don't have the coverage for it. But either way, +2 Earthquake is going to do tremendous amounts of damage to that. And yeah, it's a really good breaker here. And that's what it's going to do, pretty much. And next up, I have the Slowking with Leftovers, and I have Oblivious on this thing because I forgot Regen. You'll see in the battle that I forgot Regenerator. I have Ice Beam, Fire Blast, Scald, and Knockoff. This is a set for defensively switching into things, like the Mega Chomp, the Hitmonlee primarily, and Gigalith, I guess. But Alolan Marowak, this is my fire resist, kind of, but I just get bodied by a Shadow Bone right after, so it's not good. And I really needed leftovers over Kasib Berry for the Marowak Alola, or the Alolan Marowak, I don't know why I keep saying that. Because I need the longevity, especially if I don't have a generator, right? But yeah, Fire Blast, Scald Ice Beam is pretty good offense and coverage here, and Slack Off is there for recovery. So this is a pretty bad set. Honestly, I didn't really take a lot of time into planning this game as much as I wanted to. Like when I built initially, I just didn't have time to do it. So a lot of these sets are like a max and stuff. So Slowking is what it is. Next up, I have a Scarf Heliolisk, which is good in case he wants to run Autotomize Celesteela. I can outspeed a +2 very easily. I can outspeed Greninja. I can outspeed Scarf Togepi if that wants to come. But the only thing that I get hard walled by is the Alolan Marowak. But I really don't feel like Lightning Rod Alolan Marowak is a set here. Like Rockhead Flare Blitz is just so good against me, especially with all my rockers that I have on my draft. He really needs to take no recoil at all if he decides to bring Alolan Marowak. So that's why I don't have like Dark Pulse on it, and that's why I have the set that I do. But yeah, this thing is really good here. Focus Blast is there to hit Gigalith primarily, and yeah, it's there for Gigalith. And U-Turn can bop the Celebi for pretty good 4 times super effective damage. Straightforward stuff. Heliolisk with Solar Power in the Sun, and Scarf is really good. So yeah, good things, Jiro. This is my Alolan Marowak switch in. Say hello to Torkoal with Iapapa Berry, Rapid Spin. I shouldn't have put Drought on this thing, but it's good for Fire Blast for my 2 Fire Blast Mons, and my Solar Power Heliolisk, and my Fire Fang frickin' Dragon Boy. I forgot the name. With Iapapa Berry, I can live 2 Earthquakes from Alolan Marowak with Thick Club, so that's cool. Toxic, and I get all that health back with Iapapa Berry. I have Rapid Spin, Toxic, Lava Plume, and Earth Power. Toxic is really good to wear down his walls for my Clefable and my Gengar late game. Spin is there because I don't want hazards on my side, especially like webs. That'd be pretty bad. If he gets webs up and he has Togekiss, I lose. So that's the thing. Like I don't have a good switch into Togekiss at all because I couldn't fit like Steelix on it at all on this draft, on this team. I mean, so it's a really hard build, and yeah, I don't know what to say. It was just really tough prepping because I didn't have enough time first of all, but that's not an excuse. It's just really hard to prep for her team. It's just really solid. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing my best to try to go 8-1 here. So hopefully let's do that really quickly. And looking at this team, she does not bring the Galvantula, so no webs that we have to worry about. Her only walker, I keep saying he, I'm sorry, it's just a habit. Her rockers are Alolan Marowak and Gigalith, so I imagine Gigalith is going to be the rocker here. So I decided to lead off with my Garchomp here. I've been leading Garchomp a lot, so I need to really mix that up soon. Like I've led Garchomp pretty much every time it's come, but like why shouldn't I? It pressures most rockers in the game, and it's just offensively pressuring something immediately, and I really need to switch it up for playoffs so opponents can't really do that thing. I go for Earthquake here, and she goes for Air Slash and flinches me, so I'm like, oh my god, this is Scarf, and I realize I don't have a switch in for this because you can see that Air Slash to my Heliolisk does that much, and she reveals Lightning Rod Alolan Marowak, and I'm like, yep, this is not fun at all. I'm really surprised she brought Lightning Rod because I feel like with my rockers and the ways I can pressure this thing offensively, you have to have like, what's it called, Rockhead for Flare Blitz recoil. But this tells me that she has Fire Punch instead. Excuse me. Or at least I'm assuming at this point she has Fire Punch if she doesn't want to take recoil, because I really don't think taking unnecessary chip on the Alolan Marowak is a play against my team. But yeah, I get hard-walled by this Alolan Marowak, so Heliolisk is really bad here as she goes for knockoff on my Slowking. This is when I realized I don't have a generator, so yeah. And I have to go into my Torkoal, which takes so much, and she reveals Rock Slide and does way more than I thought. And Earth Power does only 50, so I'm like in a really bad spot right here. It's like really sad. I'm in a really bad spot. There's a Scarf Togekiss that I have no switch-ins to. This Alolan Marowak sucks. I don't have a generator on my Slowking, So everything is bad. Everything is just the worst. So yeah, it's not a good time. I Earth Power there because I have to. I go into my switch in, not switch in at all, as she decides to stay in on my U-turn. So a really good play there. I could have had Volt Switch, but unfortunately, my Clefable takes 40 from an Air Slash. It's just not looking good for me, man. I've prepped really badly for Scarf Togi. I had nothing for Scarf Togi at all. So, like, Scarf Togi plus a Alolan Marowak pretty much destroys my entire team. And I get flinched down right here. And I have to let Lucy go down because I can't do anything else. So, this is not a good start. And I go for the Thunderbolt here that doesn't kill, so easy for her to stay in there. And I have to double back out into the Alolan Marowak, which is my only play, because not a very good Shadow Ball switch-in exists except for this. So this is revealing to be max Spadef with a lefty, so it's not a fun time. As she goes for Earthquake and doesn't two-shot me, so that's really good. And she goes for Earthquake again as I go for my Lava Plume, which does 43, and this is not good because I give this thing a Beast Boost in every way. So yeah, at least they get the Spadef drop or the raise, so I kill this thing with Fire Fang. But instead, she decides to sack her Togekiss, which is so good for me because Togekiss 6-0'd me from lead, and not a fan of Togekiss, so I feel like it was a mistake sacking Togekiss there when it was just so good against my team. But you know what? I'm not complaining about it. I got a couple of differential back. As she goes into Greninja, and I don't have a switch in, so I have to sack my non-regenerator Slowking. So yeah, and this is when the chat decides to spam wheelchair. Like, I'll show you guys real quick. This on Draft Frontier, that shows up as the wheelchair emote. And it's like really big and obnoxious, so that's gonna be great. Yeah, I'm gonna continue with this as they go into Gigalith on my Chomp. What just happened? And she doubles back out into the Celesteela, but I can Fire Fang this. I don't die to a Heavy Slam at this range, and if I can flinch or burn, that'd be great. But she goes for the Heavy Slam, and I take it out with Rough Skin. So we take 2 mons down, which is cool. And I just lose to this Greninja now, so I have to sack Gengar here. For sure, and yeah, I died to a Scald. So this is Scald Greninja, I just realized, not even Surf. So this was not just a good time as she stays in on the U-turn, which was my only play. I always had to U-turn. Hopefully she goes into Marowak and I get an extra differential point, but nope, that's not the story. In hindsight, to preserve differential, the solution was just to Thunderbolt, and if she goes Marowak, I sack the Heliolisk, and then I kill something with Garchomp. But yeah, I'm just gonna stay on the chat. You can see they continue to spam the wheelchair emote for like the entire battle. Just look at this. Just look at how much they spammed. Just look. It's ridiculous, and I'm like actually really mad about this because I'm just being tossed against Tiff, who's supposed to be one of the newer players. Like, no disrespect, I hold myself to like really high standards when I battle. I feel like I can beat anybody in the game, but when I lose to somebody, okay, I'm gonna stop right there before I sound mean. Tiff, you played well so far. I can't do anything about that. You had a great team, you had a good prep. I can't do anything about that. I'm sorry for sounding like that, but whatever. I'm just really mad at this point because of what's happening in the chat. It's just I just hate it. As she goes for U-turn herself, so very interesting play there, as I'm just gonna fire off my Z move. Hopefully it kills and get another differential point. But yeah, as she goes for Hyper Voice and kills me, and she has no reason to not go into the Alolan Marowak here. But instead I forfeit because I was really salty at their spamming. Look, just look at it. Just look how much they spammed, and they were just complete aids, the entire chat. And she was taking like 5 minutes on this move when her play every single time was to go Alolan Marowak. Like, she was taking an incredible amount of time, not blaming you, but just such a long time for this last move. Just go Alolan Marowak and you win the game. I'm scarfed, you already know it. It was just not a fun time for me. And with the chat being aids, it was just really tough for me. Please understand why I forfeited there. I was just really, really mad. Not really with the result of the game, but how aids the chat was. And the final turn really just did it for me. So yeah, it was just not a game that I really want to look at anymore. And you know what? I'm at least losing to playoff opponents. She had a really good team, really good prep. I misprepped like every single one of my mons, so that was not a fun time. And yeah, hopefully I can do this. I cannot do this in class. Hopefully I can win in the playoffs. So yeah, man, I'm sorry for the salt, but please understand. I'm sorry. But yeah, we go up against Dom next week. We're now 7-2, I believe. 7-2, I think is the right number. So nothing to be mad about in that respect. But this game was just no. This game was just no. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. It means the world to me. And like always, have a swell day. Peace.